Good morning and welcome to the Nairametrics Executive Couch. The Executive Couch is a production of Nairametrics where we speak to captains and leaders of industries across all sectors of the economy. I am Wade Ahimie. Today on the show, we will be speaking with a guest whose business covers the real estate value chain. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Mosun Homes and Realtors, being the manager of Mosun Mall Development LP, the company's first structured limited partnership deal, which has birthed Mosun Mall, and his primary duty is to oversee the management of the business. With over 10 years experience in real estate industry, he is responsible for direct operational and managerial oversight of all the business lines and geographies. He sits on the board of directors and focuses on strategy and mergers and acquisition. Mosun Homes and Realtors was first established in 2015 and is a fast-growing real estate company in Nigeria, offering services including sell and buy side brokerage, lease transactions and advisory, project development, facility management, and asset services focused on the Nigerian real estate market. Since inception, Mosun Homes and Realtors Limited has acquired and managed several properties in Nigeria with approximately 4 billion assets currently within its portfolio. Good morning, Mr. Ademola Adeosun. Welcome to Nairametrics Executive Chair.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. So let's know who Mr. Adeosun is, and we'll take it up from there.
Okay, so you've said most of the important stuff already. Thank you. So I'm actually a family man. Let me put that forward. Yes. So having founded the company in 2015, it was more of a traditional and family business. But since 2015, we've been able to upscale, and what we are doing, these days is actually introducing, very rare investment vehicles into the market, which is what actually gives us our edge.
So, being a real estate brokerage development company that's just syndicated almost £1 billion, how do you see yourself in an ever-competitive market, and how do you manage to stay on top of this sector that is, really challenging?
For us as a company, it's important for us not to simply come off as mass marketers. So we continue to collect insightful values, and then carefully structure deals, and these deals are results of intensive market research. In a market full of several players doing almost the same thing, we intentionally position ourselves distinctively.
So in positioning yourself, are there inherent challenges that you face? And if there are, what kind of challenges are you confronting currently?
Well, challenges in real estate is, the top challenge would be access to finance. We see a lot of high interest rates, stringent lending criteria, and limited mortgage. So what we do is that we continue to explore the different investment vehicles, that allows us to bridge this financial gap. Yes.
Wow. So how huge is this financial gap, especially when you consider the fact that FX is holding, not just real estate, it's the whole of Nigeria.
We cannot begin to emphasize on how much of a deficit that we have in the real estate market in Nigeria. It's a serious gap, and it takes more of partnerships and a forward-looking ideology to actually close that gap.
So what has been the biggest challenge for you in terms as developers, as brokers? What has been the biggest challenge for you over the last 6-7 months in terms of foreign exchange, and how does this instability affect the market? Is it from the development side or from the brokerage side?
It cuts across every stage of investment and management. It's a ripple effect. In a volatile economy like ours, people need the bits of assurances that they can get when it comes to the Naira. But this instability, it gives a lot of uncertainty when it comes to asset valuation, procurement, and logistics. And in real estate, a lot of major processes, also involve a lot of subdivisional processes. So that's what I mean when I say ripple effect. You feel it down the chain. So As managers, it's important to identify key factors, in handling the stability and, if possible, arrest this inflation at the cap. If not, it will be simply impossible for you to, deliver your projections.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Ademola.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Nairametrics Executive Chair. I'm still your anchor, Wade Ahime, and I still have my guest with me, Ademola Adeosun, the CEO of Mosun Realtors. It's been a pleasure still talking to you, but we know you had a syndication of about almost ₦1 billion in terms of building the mall. So what next? With the arrival of such funds, building the mall, what are the next steps for Mosun Realtors?
Okay, for us, that would be partnership with more reputable asset managers. That gives us the ability to be able to raise more funds. Reputable asset managers that can anchor us as sponsors. So now we seem to be actively awakening very rare vehicles in the real estate sector in Nigeria at large. So we are like a center of attraction for potential new investors. So we do intend to embark on projects that are more capital intensive, and a partnership with a reputable asset manager is going to give us the support that we need.
Everybody's talking about cost of doing business. I know you mentioned it at the beginning of this show. Rising inflation, we don't see it coming down, though the government has promised that it will come down very soon. But the real estate seems to just be the sector that everybody wants to be in. Is it the new oil?
I mean, that is one way to look at it. We've seen comments that notably stated that the bedrock and foundation of the Nigerian economy should be real estate and not oil. Real estate is very crucial to the development of any economy. What we're seeing here happen in our market is actually several players who are trying to hold on tight to the several investments that have gone into projects. And now that is colliding with a lot of instability, which is breeding a lot of uncertainty for these guys. So, and I think that yes, real estate continues to hold its ground when it comes to when we look at the demand and supply dynamics. It continues to create new opportunities, and even though the high cost of project delivery, you see the market going at an all-time high, but yet we still see evidence of deal closing every week.
And since we're talking about closing deals, let's talk about this syndicate deal. First, the one you've just closed. What other ones do you have in the pipeline, and what foreseeable challenges to this project and projected time frame for its completion, given the instability of the naira and the current economic situation in Nigeria?
Well, inflation is on the top of that list, and it bets a lot of other challenges. What we as managers, what we continue to actively do, like I said before, is identify key factors that enable us to manage this instability and be able to arrest that inflation at a certain cap. Like I said earlier, it would be impossible to deliver your projections if you don't do that. So the project itself continues to progress on the original timeline. That's really good for us, and I mean, even if not 2-3 weeks ahead of its original timeline. So that's very good.
That's great to hear, because at 915 million, almost ₦1 billion, you don't want costs running over.
You don't.
And so what are you doing to ensure that those costs are not going to run over?
Well, I mean, those are the key factors that I said that we have identified. It's a trade secret. But anyway, it involves processes that allows you to, budget your capital properly. You do the right things first, and the other things can come later. That way you can cap inflation at a certain rate that doesn't, exceed your expectations.
We've heard the government, they've gone out so far, look for money, look for investment. We hear about foreign direct investment. How will real estate contribute to the economy development in this way if we are not getting those kind of, whether it's foreign direct investments or foreign investments into the country?
Well, I think it's in fact true that what we need right now is an urgent rush of foreign direct investments. It is true, real estate is holding the line, when it comes to a bit of stability, and that is what every foreign investor wants to perceive in an economy. They want to perceive a bit of stability, and real estate is at the forefront of that. Still giving a bit of that reassurance that there's a bit of stability in this market. I mean, Nigeria does have the potential to, attract foreign investors, and in a way that is going to bring in new capital, new opportunities and expertise and technology too. And in a way that can create a multiplier effect on the local economy. It's going to create new business opportunities, it's going to create employment, and in a way it's going to boost the economy too.
But we're not seeing them, and so that's where my next question will focus on. Are there indications or indicators that foreign investors are interested in the real estate sector in the country when you consider the current economic situation? FX is out, inflation is out of the world.
Actually, yes. There's a growing interest in Nigeria's real estate market. I mean, over the decade, we've seen a lot of global and institutional investors and private equity, investors raise and structure large transactions in Nigeria. Yes.
Wow. I'm still speaking with Ademola Adeosun, the CEO of Mosun Realtors. We'll take a short break and then we'll be back just shortly. Welcome back. This is Nairametrics Executive Couch. We're going into the last part of this interview session with Mr. Ademola Adeosun, the CEO of Mosun Realtors. He's told us a number of things, and let's hear the last part of the interview, and then we'll go on from there. Welcome back, Mr. Adeosun.
Thank you.
We've talked about the economy, we've talked about the real estate and the impact on Nigeria. Let's look at what has happened over the years. So if you look back over the years, what key changes do you think have taken place in the real estate sector, and what effect has that posted on the economy?
Well,
posed on your business?
Yeah, so over the years, there's been a lot of changes in the economy that has affected the real estate sector. I mean, even businesses in and out of the sector. So from the macros, such as the policies, the taxes, foreign exchange, and the economic cycles. I mean, depending on the perspective that we put it, we see a lot of business going out, and then we see other businesses finding the ways to, adjust and finding different coping mechanism, to weather the storm, such as repositioning. We see a lot of M&As too, and divestiture, and just a few others. Yeah.
And when you think about doing business in Nigeria, it can be very burdensome. What do you think the role of government is in creating an enabling environment, especially for businesses like Mosun Homes to thrive?
Okay, so the role of any government, in creating a thriving environment for businesses cannot be really overemphasized. From one, let's say, implementing consistent policies. It's very crucial. Very often it's difficult to ascertain the rules and guidelines that you need to go into certain agreements, or structure it certainly. I mean, we've been there, we know that. So consistent policy is important, and that can also help in the areas of infrastructures like transportation, power, and even communication networks. So I think another thing that we need to look into is minimizing tax bureaucracies, and something else would be implementing of fair fiscal policies. And lastly, I think that we spoke about this earlier. It's the facilitating of access to affordable finance. That's when we can start talking about affordable housing, which is rare on the market.
Which is where you want to be. So I can't let you go without telling us about your project. You know, it's huge, huge syndicated amount, almost £1 billion. So just tell us a bit about the project.
Okay, so what we have done here is we have created value in a very volatile economy. You know, if we look at the deal from the limited partnership side, what we have done is that we have taken up the role as a general partner, you know, to oversee the delivery, you know, of a commercial project. It's a mini shopping mall, you know, with over 21 shops that are going to be rented out to, you know, parties that are interested. And, you know, in a way, once this project is completed, we plan to distribute rental incomes to the partner for a certain number of years. You know, then after that, we plan on the exit. So what we are doing here is creating value in a number of years, you know, and at the same time, you know, giving those values back to the limited partners. You know, they get rental income for a certain number of years, and it's a smooth exit, you know, at the end of this circle. Yes.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Ademola Adeosun. It's been over 15 minutes of insightful discussion about Mosun Realtors. On that note, we'll call it a day on the Nairametric Executive Chair session for today. Thank you once again for listening to us, and thank you, Mr. Adeosun, for being our guest today. Have a great day. Bye for now.